base everything in reality on what you can do and under promise what their expectations can be, knowing that you can over deliver. What is up, my friends? Daniel back here again, and I've just been loving all the comments and questions I've been getting. Thank you for all the feedback and all the love, and I want to talk more today about basically just some issues that have been coming up. One of the most immediate confrontations you might have to have when it comes to your confidence is selling yourself and pricing your products and services. Really, it's pricing. You know, how do you price your products and services? How do you come up with a price that feels fair to you, that works for you and your numbers, that also seems fair in the marketplace, and that you don't feel takes advantage of your customers, and that also sells at the rate you need it to sell? As you know, when you start a real business and you're moving into creating, like more sustainable growth, you're not charging by the hour anymore, and you're pricing your products or your services that you're making based on the value that they think they provide. Now, that you think they provide, mixed with where the market is and what you're trying to accomplish. In the beginning, when you're coming in a marketplace, the best thing to do is to first and foremost make sure that you're very, very, very good at whatever it is that you're doing. Because at the end of the day, the cream always rises to the top. The best can always charge the most. I mean, there's an asterisk here, which I'll go over, but it's a requirement that you be the absolute best you can be, and the best of your ability. It doesn't mean that you always have to be number one in everything that you do all the time, but you should be striving to the best of your ability. And once you've at least mastered the skill portion of this, then you can say, all right, I know that I'm over delivering. I know that I'm very good at what I'm doing, or not only am I good, but I'm developing, I'm trying. So maybe you've only been doing this for a small amount of time. You have the hunger and the drive to do your absolute best, and you're committed to delivering a great result for your client. That's the most important part. Now, once you've accomplished that, the next thing is, how much do you charge? And this is very personal. It's very independent. The first thing you need to do is take a survey of the market. Look at what other people are charging. You can look on job boards like Upwork. You can look in Craigslist. You can Google it. You can go on Yelp. You can make some phone calls. I think they still have phone directories on some planets. But you can check and you can see what the local prices are. Check your local listings, essentially, and figure out what the general prices are and what the variance is. See what the low end is and what they provide. See what the high end is and what they provide. And start to think about what it is that you want to offer. And then when you go into the market, what I would recommend is that you go in towards the middle to top of the market, but over deliver on the service end. So let's say that you see and of course there is a caveat here that you want your skills to be high. Sometimes you're going to enter in towards the lower end of the market because you're not yet good enough to compete towards the top 25%, let's say. But it should be where your aim is. It should be where your aim is. And let me tell you why. It's because when you enter into the lower end of the market, let's say we're talking just web design here, and let's say that let's say that the crappiest websites are getting done for $250, and the best websites are getting done for $10,000. Which there's more and less on each side depending on where you're looking. If you come in at, say, you want to do websites for $500 or $750, that's not bad. It's a decent amount of money. If you're just freelancing, you're starting out, you can do these things pretty fast, and if you get a lot of them, you can make a lot of money, for one person moving relatively slow. But the problem is that it's very hard to be competitive at that price point because everyone is doing websites for that price or lower sometimes, and there's only so much service that you can provide with that amount of money because you can't really afford to pay someone who's that good to help you, and you still have your own expenses and your own bills at that point. So unless you have a huge operation that's already going, it's pretty hard to charge that much and to really, really grow it, especially if it's not recurring, which is another thing. And if it's just websites and it doesn't have a recurring component to it, so you can't ensure that you're gonna have revenue going forward, then you need, it's not enough up front. So you move to closer to the top of the market. And what you want to do is, let's say again, between 250 and 10,000, you want to start moving past 5,000, you know, and once you start moving past $5,000, you know, over time, it might take you, you know, a few years to get to the point where you're charging 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for a website. But the reason why is because at the top of the market, that's the part of the market that usually never gets squeezed, because people who can afford to pay, businesses that can afford to pay top dollar, even in hard times, are still doing better than pretty much everyone else at the bottom. And there are some exceptions to this, but in most industries, you know, it's going to be affected by the different waves of the recessions and the economy shifting and different financial things going on in various countries. And there's always going to be ups and downs, but the top of the market is always going to be pretty secure. You know, it's just like even during recessions, rich people are still buying yachts. You know, it's like, and a lot of times, sometimes they're buying more yachts because there's more blood in the water. So the idea is, when you go higher up the food chain, one, it helps you because you're bringing in essentially, you know, a 10x increase on your profit for not necessarily much more work. When you're charging, let's say $7,500 for a website instead of, you know, $750, you can afford to get better people to help you, who are probably better. They're going to be better than you anyway. You can afford to get better people to help you. You can get customer service. You can develop better marketing for yourself, so you can bring in more clients because you have extra money. And of course, you can pay yourself better. So it's better for the company, and of course, it's better for the client as well, because you're going to deliver something better than you could for $750. So it's a win-win for everybody, and you won't have to sell as many of those websites to do better numbers, right? And of course, people who are paying $7,500 for a website might also be in a position to pay you some sort of monthly retainer for other things that you could offer. And all you have to do is ask them, what do you need? And see if there's an intersection between what they need and what you provide. So that's why you want to move to the top of the market. Now, you might not be able to go there right away, but the goal is to get there. And you can get there by working with clients kind of at the beginning of the journey and graduating them up. You can get there by essentially building a suite of products or services where you'll meet people at different places in the market depending on where they're at and how much pain they're in. But this is how you do it. So you want to get to the top of the market. And so, I mean, that's the key. You price yourself. I would say price yourself so that you can always over deliver no matter what. You have to under-promise and over-deliver. That's what it is. Under-promise, over-deliver. So make the promises based on the results that you've gotten for other clients, the real-life stuff that you've been able to demonstrate, which you might take time to develop if you're new, developing, getting testimonials, getting case studies, but base everything in reality on what you can do, and under-promise what their expectations can be, knowing that you can over-deliver. So let's say, for instance, that you're working with a client and they have a complete rebrand, redesign project that they need done, and they need it done in a month, and you agree and you say, great, I can get that done in 4 weeks, even though you know your team can get it done in 2. If you get it done in 2 weeks, you look like a savior. You look awesome. You look amazing. Even if you get it done in 3 weeks, you look incredible, because your timeline internally was 2 weeks, but you told them 4 weeks, right? So if you get it done in 2 or 3 weeks, you look amazing. If you get it done in 4 weeks, you just hit expectations, and that's fine too. So you see, whereas if you say, oh, okay, I can get it done in 2 weeks, and it takes you 4, well, now you basically overpromised and you underdelivered. So you want to make sure that you're always leading this game. Leading this. And so, you know, it's the same with, that's how it works with pricing. You know, if you're going to charge $750, deliver a $3,500 website, wow them, crush it, and then allow yourself to move up the food chain until you get to those $10,000 websites, and then just productize the hell out of those and stay at the top of the market and price yourself at the top. That's how you want to price yourself. So, but again, there's confidence that goes into this. You have to build up the confidence to be able to sell yourself at that level. And it takes time. You know, in the beginning, you're not going to feel like you can provide enough value to be worth, you know, these high ticket prices. But the skill that you're going to develop over doing the work over years hopefully will give you that confidence. And as you're hiring other team members, you will have confidence in them as well. And you guys can certainly sell, you know, and you guys can certainly raise your prices, and you're going to need to. because that's how business is done. So these are my thoughts on pricing. There's no like, I wish that I should have like written down a tutorial, but these are just my thoughts off the top of the dome. Let me know what other questions you have in the comments. Comment, like, subscribe. Love you guys. It's been fun. I appreciate you being here so I can be back on YouTube, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
The Foundr mission is to help you create an ass-kicking business and help you learn straight from the mouths of world-class founders. Get your free printed edition of Foundr magazine featuring Sir Richard Branson. Just cover shipping and handling at foundr.com/Branson.